Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda Nicole if you guys are new here to my channel. If not, welcome back. So I have been gone from the YouTube world for quite a while, and this is my very first video I've decided to make in the last, I guess, about 5 months or so. And there's a lot of reasons why. So I figured I would just make a video explaining where I've been, what's going on with my life, kind of updates for all of you who like to kind of follow me on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever that may be, so I can kind of update you guys. So if you guys are interested in this video, if you enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you leave, and also subscribe, because why not? I believe my last upload was about 5 months ago. So I want to say like beginning or mid-February, I'll say. And then right around that time, like right after my last upload, this crazy thing called a pandemic happened. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but like it's happening. And I ended up being out of work like a lot of people have, and I would have thought, okay, great, free time, I'll upload on YouTube, I'll make videos, I'll make a lot of content, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll just do it. But there was just a lot of other things in my life going on. I don't know if you have seen every single one of my videos, but a lot of my earlier videos, I kind of reference a past relationship that I was in, and it's been close to 2 years, I would say. So it's been, I would say, close to 2 years since me and my now ex-boyfriend broke up. So I moved out of the house that I shared with him, and then I moved to a family member's house, and then I moved to another family member's house until I could kind of figure out what was going on. And not only just because of the breakup, but because of a lot of other personal issues I had. I struggled a lot with my mental health. I do suffer from crippling anxiety and depression, and I have a couple other diagnoses. I'm not going to get into those too deeply right now unless somebody really requests that video, just for the sake of helping them cope with mental health issues. But I kind of decided like I needed to shut myself off from a lot of social media, a lot of the YouTube world for a while, and it was just a struggle for me. I struggled for a while, and then things started getting better. At the beginning of this year of 2020, I met someone new, and we instantly fell in love. It was love at first sight, and we made things official at the very beginning of February of this year. So February 4th, to be exact, would be what we are considering our anniversary date. So we just hit our 6th month mark. I usually wouldn't like speak on a relationship if it were just this new and still like in the beginning stages, but for me and him both, we have made it very clear that this is it for us. We are so in love. We hit it off so perfectly. We complement each other so fucking perfectly that I couldn't imagine ever being with anyone else in this world except for him. And I love him to death, and he feels the same way about me. He treats me like a freaking queen, and it's the most amazing thing. So I spent most of the last few months just enjoying our relationship, and that's a lot of what I've been doing. We hit a little roadblock a couple weeks after we started dating, with some health issues that he had reoccurring. It was something that happened before we met, and then things got better, and then things kind of started going downhill again. I'm not going to get too much into that, but if you do follow me on Facebook, if we are friends and on a personal level, then you may already know what the issue is. But we're kind of slowly working on his health and getting things back to where they are. So I didn't really feel like I had a lot of free time to continue to make videos and sit down and film, and I really just didn't have the drive. I needed to focus so hardly on my state of mental health and his state of physical health, and focus on keeping my child happy, healthy, and not confused, considering school for him was shut down, you know, mid-March to mid-April-ish, you know, and then he just didn't get to go back. We did packets of paperwork for grades and things like that, but for a little boy that's only 7 years old, he will be 8 years old in November, it was a very, very confusing thing for him, and I am sure any of those of you that are moms or dads can relate to that. And to tell him, no, we can't go to the store and just go shopping or go out and walk around in at the Walmart or whatever, because we shouldn't just go out for the hell of it. We should only go out if we have to. We should only go grocery shopping if we have to. So that's how things were for quite a while. So now that we are mid-August, a lot of stores are opening back up, and thankfully we can do a more leisure grocery shopping trip with the kids or go out to dinner. We've just for the very first time went to a restaurant and sat down maybe 2 weeks ago with all the kids, and we've never even done that our whole relationship. My boyfriend has 3 kids. His 2 youngest live with us, and then my only child that I have, you know, is here. We both sets of children obviously go to their other parents' house kind of at, you know, sporadically, you know, depending on the, you know, me and my son's father have a schedule like this and they have a schedule like this, so we just do things. But otherwise, this is home 1 for them, and then they have home number 2 with their other parent. So, you know, when they're all here, we try to do fun things, whether it be going to a park or just going fishing or whatever. But, you know, it's very hard for a lot of kids to still keep a healthy social life and be safe, and it's hard for us parents to make both of those things happen, especially when one of the parents in this home has a weakened immune system at this time. I fear every day that one of us could be exposed to the virus that is going around right now. I pray every day that it doesn't happen. We take all of the safety measures that we possibly can to make it not happen, but it doesn't mean it's not going to if we're, you know, not safe. So it could happen to any of us, but for me, I am just trying to keep that fear away from the kids so that they don't become anxious in everyday life, and so that they don't become more overwhelmed than they have to as younger children, because the boys range from 7, almost 8, to 13, and then 16, almost 17. So that's where our kids' age ranges are, and school is about to start back up for them. My son will be doing school virtually 4 days a week, and then the older 2, the schools on their end is offering 2 days of in-school, 2 days of virtual learning, or all 4 days of virtual learning, which I'm not sure what their parents are fully going to decide for them, but I will be doing 4 days of virtual learning with my son. And during this crazy time of shutdowns and pandemics and things like that, when me and my boyfriend decided that we were going to move in together, I moved into his home, and we were going to re-sign the next lease together, so both of our names could be on it and we could just stay there, and then I'd, you know, kind of integrate me and my son into, you know, the lives of him and his kids. But unfortunately, maybe 2 weeks before the lease was up, we found out that we were not going to be able to re-sign a lease, and that the company who managed the property, which I will rat them out, it was Long and Foster. They're a fucking nightmare. They were convincing the owner that he had to sell the home. It wasn't doing good as a rental property, and unfortunately they didn't follow the legal guidelines on rental properties in the state that I am in. So very quickly we had to find something else, and we really didn't have a lot of time to look or really move. We had to be out of the other house maybe 2 or 3 days prior to getting able to fully move into the home we're in now. But with that being said, we did find a home right down the street. Both of our names are thankfully on the lease, so we didn't have to have any issues with that. And it's definitely smaller than the other home, so we have to downsize a lot, like a lot of the furniture and the bulkier items that fit a large living room. They're in a smaller home. I'm not going to disclose my address or do like a house tour or anything, just for safety purposes. And no, I'm not saying that as if I am some A-list celebrity or even like A-list YouTube world celebrity. But another one of the reasons why I've been trying to lay low as far as the social media thing is because I might have a stalker. I don't know if I'm just being paranoid or if it's a true thing. And I do see a lot of like story time YouTubers, or just really anybody that will do a story time about like my Uber driver tried to kidnap me, and my you know, I've had a stalker, and I will never discredit the fear that anyone else felt in one of those situations, so I don't ever mean to sound like I'm downplaying their situation, but I did connect a lot of dots, and I also tried to explain to my boyfriend that, look, I think I have a stalker, and I try to find like good videos or TV shows about it so I can fully show him like what other people have dealt with and why I'm starting to have a little bit of fear. And you know, I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and some people had a very like, I had this guy calling me for a year every day, wanting to take me out on a date, and that was the worst stalking situation because it was crazy and blah, blah, blah. Something that to me, I would be like, shit, I'd be happy if I even knew who it was and they tried to communicate with me and I could have the chance to tell them to fuck off. I wasn't interested, but that's just not what's happening. Some backstory to that, I will say that almost 4 years ago, I was living with my grandmother. And almost every single night, between like 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., I would sometimes go outside, just chill on the porch. And I started noticing that there would be like a car waiting on the road where my grandmother's house is. It's a pretty rural area, so like if you stopped on the side of the road to like stare at my house, you're not blocking traffic. Another car could get around you, and at that time of night there's nobody else coming up or down the road, so it would be like that. Or sometimes I would go outside, like yes, I smoke cigarettes, they're fucking gross, don't do it, but I do. I go outside to smoke, and I'd make sure the light on the porch was turned off, and then I would see a car just like if I'm sitting here like on the porch like this, and like they're out on the road, they would just creep, like turn off their headlights and creep like this, and then turn them on like before they got like past the view of my house, and then turn their headlights on and speed away. And this happened about at least 10 different times that I caught it. I did start taking videos of it, but I was scared to death and I didn't know who it was. And then it eventually stopped. And then when I don't know, 3 years later or so, maybe 3 years if that, I started getting messages through Snapchat The person was not saved in my contacts. They made their name in a way that I couldn't track them back to a Facebook account or to any other thing that I would be able to be like, okay, this account is linked to this and this phone number is in my contacts, or whatever the case may be. I couldn't figure out who it was. And, you know, they would contact me and just say things like, I'm in love with you, I'm obsessed with you. And I would ask them questions like, are you friends with this person I know? Are you friends with, you know, this person I dated? And so they would know enough about my life that I knew it wasn't just a random person just messing with me on Snapchat. I knew that this person knew me. I knew that they did, because they knew my first name, last name. They knew enough. They knew that I had a child. They knew enough about me on like a personal aspect that I know it wasn't some random person that just searched my username on Snapchat and then decided to just start contacting me and messing with me. And they even told me, if you can figure out who I am by like messaging me on Facebook or whoever, I will come clean and tell you who I am. So of course I messaged a couple of random guys that I knew. And I'll tell you that I know it was a guy because he also decided at random times to send me pictures of his genitals. And yes, I did save the pictures and enlarge them and try to figure out, like, can I see hair? So I can figure out like what hair color this person has. Can I see feet? Can I see you know, a wall behind him or a bathroom tile or anything else in the picture to kind of help me identify? But I couldn't. I could not. It looked like a body part of somebody's I had never seen before, so it's not like I could tell. So that went on sporadically for the next maybe year and a half or so, and then it kind of died down. And I did get rid of Snapchat maybe 4-ish months ago, so I haven't really been on there. And then some weird things have happened in the last month or so. One day a random knock on my door happened. I was on my back porch just hanging out with the dogs, and my boyfriend answered the door, and they came back to me and said some guy named, I'm not going to say the name that he gave me, but I don't know anybody by that name. Some guy with such and such name is here for you. And I said, I don't know anybody with that name, so whatever. I thought he was joking with me. So I said, well, tell him I'm not here. Tell him whatever. Because like I thought he was just joking, and I didn't want to go to this door for a random stranger knowing what I had already been through. And I don't think he even connected the dots at that point, so it wasn't a big deal. And this man said, asked for me by name, asked for Linda, and said, oh, that's strange. Me and her have been talking every day. Almost, he acted as if I had just texted him or called him and said, yeah, come by. Well, I've only been living in this house since June, and nobody except for my son's father has my address. Because when we do drop-offs and pickups, we drive to each other's house to exchange our child. And you know, he needs to know where I live. That's his son is staying here too, and I need to know where he lives. My son stays there too. We co-parent very well. So like he knows it. And I also gave my grandmother my address so she could mail me stuff, but she already like lost it in her text messages. So I like, those are two people I trust, and I don't think that they would show up. But the person had like a red like sports type car, like nothing like super fancy, but, and then a dog was in the car is what he said. And it was somebody I couldn't recognize. I couldn't be like, oh, that's so-and-so. I can't believe he stopped by, but nobody has his address. I never put it on social media. I never put up like, here's our new house pictures. Like I never did that because I just didn't, you know? And then maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks later, I had went by a family member's house to pick my son up. My son was having a little play date with his friend and visiting a relative. And then we go to leave, and I get back in the car. I get on the passenger side, and tucked in the window, it was inside, like the inside of the car, but rolled up in the window just to keep it in place. Like someone had rolled down, cracked the window, put a piece of paper in it, and then rolled it back up. It was a little note like ripped off of an envelope, and it said, back off, she's mine. And I thought it was just a joke. I thought my son and my boyfriend had played a joke on me because they are big jokesters. They play jokes all the time. And most of the time it's funny. Like they mess with me, they mess with each other, they mess with the other kids. Like that's just the thing. We like to play jokes on each other. So I thought it was them for the longest time. And then even up to this date, up to these past few weeks, he swears it was not him. I literally broke down, like almost in tears, talking about having this potential stalker and the fear that I'm feeling now that things are getting too close to home for me. And if it were him just playing a joke, at that point he would have come clean and would have said, hey, like that was me, I'm so sorry, I won't do it again. But so I know it wasn't him. So I just know. So that's another reason why I've been kind of laying low. I definitely don't want to live in fear or feel like I can't just be alone wherever. I do feel like I'm safe. I mean, in the sense that I will do anything to protect myself, and if anybody ever tried to like come at me, my son's around, like they're gonna know I don't fucking play. But it's fear. It's the fear of not knowing, one, who it is and how they know where I live. Are they like lurking in the bushes at night, like watching me? I don't know. Like, do any of you guys have any experiences with this? Do you have any ideas of what I should do? Should I go to the police? I don't feel like I could, because what am I supposed to say? There's a person who I don't know who they are stalking me. I mean, is this considered stalking yet? It's not like it's really cyber stalking per se, because it's not like they're only doing things via social media. I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, besides the Snapchat messages, I just don't know. So that is kind of a lot of the things that I've been dealing with. Obviously my major depression and things like that. I really needed to take my time for me, work on me, get me back to a better, happier, healthier place, because I had a really, really, really rough time for quite a while, and I'm feeling a lot better. My relationship is good. My home life is good. I definitely have a little anxiety over the uncertainty of the rest of life, of, you know, getting back to work, and, you know, school coming up for my son and my stepchildren, and making all of that be a, you know, a good, healthy transition. But I feel like I'm ready to continue with my channel. I feel like I'm ready to make content regularly, and hopefully, if I do have a real stalker, or if I just have someone playing a sick joke on me, I'll figure that out either way. So so I can have a little more peace about that situation. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concern, or advice on some of these topics that I touched on, I would absolutely love for you to leave me a comment below. Or if you follow me on Instagram, my page is Faces by Linda Nicole. You can always DM me on there, and we can always have a private conversation if you so wish to do. If you've ever dealt with any of these things, or you have advice that you don't necessarily want to make a public conversation, we can always chat over there. So I'm gonna wrap this up, probably go to bed now. I love you guys so very much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.